togetherness, and every fascist is afraid of my fist. Ukraine matters. I see away, and all the helpers, let's unite, 'cause Ukraine matters. God bless you, is in my prayers. Ukraine matters. Ukraine.
Hey everyone, Georgie here. Sorry for the delay and the awkward pause, because when I switched, I thought it would be cool because there was music playing, and then I switched to myself, and the music keeps playing, but you're still enjoying my face. But then turns out that that's not how OBS works. That when I switch the scenes, then if the audio is not in this scene, then you get no audio. Anyways, welcome to this, it's Saturday evening for me, so whatever time of the day it is for you, it's a very, very happy communion that we have today. We have achieved incredible feats by this community. I was never thinking that I would be so proud of you guys, and you are amazing, and you've shown it. You've definitely shown it. Our community, how do I put it? We did some fundraisers, we did fundraiser for up to 100,000. That was pretty cool. Then we participated in a fundraiser with some of the other creators, and we got 400,000. That was pretty big. And I was like, well, I'm not the biggest of creators, especially after Jake raised 2 millions with his community, but I thought, well, let's give it a try. Let's do this. How do you say? Leap of faith, so to say, and we did it. 3 months, only 3 months took you guys, this community, to get from 0 things delivered to Ukraine to now 25 trucks being delivered to Ukraine. Incredible. We're gonna look at the fundraiser today. I'm going to read the comments that people left. We're going to talk about other things. I'm going to answer some of your questions, though questions is secondary to the stream. So if there's going to be too many questions, I say sorry in advance that I will not be able to answer all of them. Definitely tap yourself on the shoulder and for doing a great job. Ukraine really needs it, and we're going to touch on that as well today. All in all, I think this week's week was pretty mixed bag. We had some absolutely incredible news, and we had some absolutely devastating news. So we kind of going in very different directions, as it seems. But one direction that we're staying very strong is in support of our moderating team for this channel. Because guys, this channel, this achievement, 250,000 and everything, I'm a talking face. I'm a guy here talking to you. You are the people that support this channel. You are the absolute most important thing that we have built here is the community, which basically are you. You are the community. But there are also the moderating team that are dedicating a lot of their time to make sure that we have civilized conversation, that we have good community, that we smash all of the trolls, all of the nasty propaganda spreaders, and they allow us to interact with each other in the comments section, in other platforms, a lot better way. They're doing a lot more, but at least for this, what I can tell you guys, please give them a hand. They definitely more than earn it. And I say, thank you so much. €250,000. That's what, $270,000 plus? That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Seriously, that's a lot of money. Obviously, for the people that are like, oh, Georgie just wanted to put money in his pocket. Look at his face. He's so rich. It's no, obviously, we were working with Car for Ukraine, I didn't see a single cent of that money. It was a platform hosted by them. They received on the money. They are Ukrainians. They are in Ukraine. They have been buying the cars through their means. I was just promoting it, and this community was the one that did it. So I have seen absolutely nothing of that money. So there we go. Another good achievement. Now, let's talk a little bit about what happened this week, because like I'm pretty sure you're eager to hear. And I don't even know where to start. Well, first and foremost, let's start probably with some of the good news, and then we can get into bad ones and bitch, and maybe by the end of the stream we're gonna finally start yelling and doing some rants or whatever. But with the good news, guys, Europe is rising up. Like real talk, Europe is doing incredible things. I have had my skepticism with regards to what Europe will be doing, but so far, the propositions that are on the table, both when we're talking about EU, which is the biggest part of Europe, but not the only one, there are other countries. So the EU is doing pretty big things, but also individual countries are doing huge, huge things. So with EU, let me see where I put my notes for that. So European Union has unrolled the unprecedented support package. Now, it is important because European Union, we're not a federation. European Union is not a state. It's pretty much exactly the opposite. It's basically a unified states, and we have some kind of a super state organism, like an organ, that we delegate some power to. But it's not a state. They're not prescribing anything to us. And we just agree on certain things. And that's important to understand the first point. In that organism that is unifying all of the states within the European Union, there are something that we call the budget deficit clause. So when we are spending to improve our countries, to deal with debt and so on, to deal with the different issues, the countries take on debt. And in our super state body, the European Union, we described and agreed that there are certain limits to how much debt a country can take. This has been seriously implemented, not seriously implemented, it was implemented before, but more seriously watched at after 2008 financial crisis, when it turns out that some of the states, which I don't want to name, not because, like, if you know, you know, but because there is a bigger respect, because the states that were in that position, they have done an amazing job, and they have really, really come and turn around. So I have my deepest respect for our neighboring European states. I don't want this to be like a finger-pointing exercise. So instead, I will say that there has been a lot of discussion about the debt inside of Europe, and we have been very conservative with our access to that. So that let's say, when we are stating that we're going to loosen that debt limit, that we're going to allow states to spend more, in this case on defense, this is pretty unprecedented. This is a huge, huge deal for Europeans, just because how tight we were about like our debt ceiling, so to say, like if I can draw a parallel with something that Americans could. So what was proposed on the point number one is that we create the escape clause for the member states to increase their defense spending. And that defense spending, if it is increased up to I believe 3.5% of every state, then it could basically state that we in European Union will spend 650 billion for defense. Now, it is unclear for now for me whether the defense spending is allowed to be done only up till 3.5%, or is it actually allowed to be done more? And that's important to understand, because what was specifically said is that it's going to be 650 billion if every single state inside Europe will raise its defense spending to 3.5%. So if a state, for example, goes over like to 4 to 5%, does this clause still work? And that's something I will only understand when the full text of the document comes out. And does that mean that it is in general could be considered that there is more potential spending that can be done in defense in Europe? That is important to understand. Second procedure is we are granting huge amounts of loans. So European Union is preparing to set up a fund where they will have about 150 billions backed loans for the states for the common procurement. This is a fund that is dedicated specifically to either help Ukraine, so to purchase weapons inside of Ukraine, to make orders in Ukraine for the weapons to their produce, and for the countries to invest and make longer term contracts with our own procurements. Especially the second part advertises for common procurement. So multiple countries order the same types of production units, same types of weaponry as the other states. So this step kind of cuts through a lot of the things. It cuts through both this defense spending, it cuts both to investments in Ukraine, but it also cuts into the things that Europe just have a very varied nomenclature of weapons that, for example, trucks and vehicles and weaponry that Sweden uses is very different than trucks and vehicles than Spain uses or the Greeks are using. So that's why it's more favorable for a common procurement cause, which is great. Then the third one is an optional one. The third point is an optional point, but it allows countries to use something that is called European Union cohesion funds. To explain it simply, in Europe, we try to share the burden between the richer states and less richer states. And the less richer states, usually the states that are still kind of new to European Union and are still being just lifted up, they get access to something that is called cohesion funds. Cohesion funds allows the states to either get full grants, like fully paid grants to improve their infrastructure, make different projects in the country, and just generally improve their economy. But more often, it's a co-assigned investment. So, for example, European Union, because cohesion funds pays 50%, and then the state pays 50%, essentially allowing the state to develop itself almost twice as much, depending on what they're developing. So those are the cohesion funds. And cohesion funds usually are mostly directed at specifically investments into the state economy or like cultural, some heritage, or infrastructure. So those are the things that cohesion funds are used for. With this new decision, it is now optional for the states that have the access to cohesion funds to use the money from the cohesion funds to boost their defense spending. So again, if we're talking point number one, 600 billion that is stated, maybe bigger depending if the states that go bigger would be allowed to do so. 150 billion loan is varied and it's still dependent, like there's still discussion where they can be spending it. Then the third point already also additionally allows the state to dip into more money for defense spending. And then the point number four, everything that we listed so far has been for public spending. This is for governments, this is for the states. The European Union leaders, they're stating that we want to incentivize also private spending. So European Union is motivating Europe Investment Bank to specifically target private investments in defense industries. So all of the spendings that we have been discussing so far, that is the government. But also beyond that, there is a huge push to establish the financing of weapons procurement. One of the things that European Union we didn't do is that our weapons companies were underfinanced because it was very hard for weapons companies to get access to extra funds. It's a really problematic thing to go, for example, you cannot just really go to bank. It's perceived as like, oh, it's risky, it's weapons, who are you going to sell it to, and so on. Now European Union states basically, no, weapons are the thing that we want to invest. So our banks and every other country's banks would be not required, because that's private, like motivated by some mechanisms that we'll introduce to invest and give loans to businesses that are going to be doing weapons procurement. So everything that we listed before was already a lot of money. And then point number 4 is we're motivating private weapons development. We're motivating the boom in private weapons development. And this goes well with the point number 5, whereas that in European Union, we have a lot of rules and regulations in principle. And they're stating that because we're right now on this level that like we cannot just wait for weapons to be tested against everything forever, because of our current situation, we need to cut the red tape. So point number 5 is we're going to have simplified procedures for weapons development and approval all throughout Europe. That is incredibly important for European Union, because that's the biggest breaks on any kind of progress and development that was there in Europe, which is the bureaucracy. And they're basically stating we're going to cut the bureaucracy for weapons procurements. Massive change, insane changes. Like it's not even a joke to say that just how much dedication European Union is doing to set their weapons industries up for a win. And this brings us to the second point. The second point being what Trump has done to United States, because we're going to talk definitely about what was cut for Ukraine. We're definitely going to talk about the video. But there is another point that I want to mention, which is that Trump's initiative by declaring United States as an unreliable provider of weapons, unreliable because like Trump is breaking like any and all contracts on his whim, right? So that creates United States as an unreliable partners, because the nature of weapons and wars is thoroughly, geopolitical. Like that's just the fact of it. Like if states are in a state of war with each other, that is geopolitical question in itself. So that's why, like, for example, Swiss arms manufacturers suffered so much because they stated like, well, we're not just going to provide weapons to the warring nations, which is insane because the weapons are already there. And we're not going to allow weapons that have our components to Ukraine. Mark is getting a lag. Are you guys also getting a lag? If you're getting a lag, tell me. I'm going to try to see if I can fix it. I hope you're not getting lags. Is fine. Okay, great. Yes, so what United States basically declared is our weapons production, and I should have removed the starting soon. Our weapons production is unreliable. Do not trust us. If you're not gonna be bowing to us, if you're not gonna be doing exactly as we want this, and more importantly, like which is even worse for United States, is that Trump is using US supplied weapons as a tool of extorting pressure on their weapons users. So the countries that are going to be buying weapons from United States might expect United States to start extorting them on these weapons. Insane. Like, it's not just about shooting himself in the foot. That is like literally, like if US industry wouldn't be like a world leader just in productivity, for any other case, this would be literally like a suicide mission. Like, it's insane what he's doing. I'm pretty sure like people in the weapons industry in US are just like, they're losing their hairs like that this is happening. It's absolutely disgusting for businesses. They are going nuts because of it. And obviously, like some of them are still fine because US will still purchase a lot of weapons, but majority maybe outside of the top weapons producers. So beyond that, what Trump has basically done, this is idiotic, like, and this is like where the idiocy just kind of hits the new level, is that by demanding Europe to do more by itself, they are creating a competitor. The US president has said our weapons industry is dominating too hard on the world stage. So why don't I sabotage the reputation of US weapons manufacturers and motivate one of the biggest economic trading blocs to invest insane amounts into their defense, so they create massive competitors to our weapons industry, so then we have harder trouble selling the weapons to anyone. Just listen to what it is. It's stupid. It's beyond idiocy. It's just insane. Like, so basically Trump has kneecapped the US weapons manufacturing. Short term, don't get me wrong, it's a massive win. Like, you know, they are like going around, pretty sure, all of these MAGA folks, and I was like, you know, like all the feathers going up, like, and they're like, oh, we're so good, putting like that red hat, like, you know, like, whoo, back in America, great again. And then they finally realize that like 5 years later, they're going to be up against the massive European military industrial complex that is being built up right now by hundreds of billions being invested in it. Insanity. Absolute insanity. That is like, okay, so let me simplify. If you own a lemonade stand, and that lemonade stand is the only lemonade stand in your neighborhood, you don't pay your neighbor and bully your neighbor to say, you can't open a lemonade stand. So the neighbor just says, okay, and he's like from the rich family. So, okay, so he bullied neighbor, and then you're like standing in your lemonade stand. I was like, haha, I bullied that guy. Good me, like so nice. I'm such a great bully. And then the guy just says like, well, I asked my rich dad, and he bought me like this big ass stand that's like having the disco lights and all of the fancy sounds and so on. And also our lemonade is like freshly made from like the tropical fruits of the Mount whatever. And you're like there sitting with your lemonade stand. It's like, well, how did this happen? Yeah, indeed. So yeah, the orange man is definitely doing things. And that's why, like, I don't buy when people say, like, you know, like, Georgie, like, you're assuming like that he's like a 5D chess player, like that is actually the secret plan. It's like, no, because like if you start following the steps to what his actions lead to, it's a disaster, absolute disaster. It's insane. Jake says, dude, I hate Trumpsters, but you are wrong. It's like, wrong, because like, I don't know, they like, Jake, strong Europe is great. I agree, strong Europe. I'm European. I like our European Union. I like Europe being incredible. What I'm stating is that Trump is idiot motherfucker that kneecapped his own defense industry. Like, it's not about Europe being better off or worse. It's about what this idiot did. I love Europe. Europe is best. Insane. Like, so this week has been insane. All right, let's jump into some questions, and then we're gonna talk about stuff. Okay, so some of the first questions kind of got removed. So like the first question that I see is from Serhiy Onishenko. And he says, hey Georgie, congrats on the car campaign finish. Any plans for the next big thing? Yes. So Serhiy, we talked a little bit about a thing, and we talked privately. We have some really big announcement, but we're not ready yet. There are certain things that we need to do. There's a massive announcement, guys, that you will be absolutely stunned by. I can guarantee you that. And we have to work a little bit more. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes that is ongoing. We are very, very close to finally revealing what we have been doing. But for now, unfortunately, or fortunately, you have been more efficient with the campaign than I was expecting. Like, we finished the campaign maybe like a month faster than I was expecting. So thank you so much for being these guys that participated in campaign. And thank you so much for doing it. It's just like, maybe like I underestimated just how insanely cool my community is. wasting bait. I sent you $200 to support them trucks. I wish I could have sent more, but I only get $800 a month to live on, and probably now I'll be less because of Trump's social security cut. Yes. So guys, you need to understand the concept of disposable income. If your income is vital to your survival, that is not disposable income. Like, that is an income that is important for your survival. There is nothing wrong if you are not in position to send money. There is plenty of good things you can do. You can support the channel by liking, subscribing. You can support other Ukrainian creators. You can write your state representatives. You can go on protests. It's not bad to not have money. That is fine. There has been plenty of time that I don't have money. If you didn't know, I come from like insanely poor background. Going through the trash to find what we can eat in that trash background. That's my childhood. And there's nothing wrong with this. It doesn't make you a worse person. So if the money that you're sending is literally your survival money, I want you to first and foremost understand that Ukraine will be stronger if their supporters stay alive. So please do not sabotage your own life. I cannot say like for supporting Ukraine. Do not sabotage your life if it's really taking away from you. We need your life. We need you to go for this long term. It's more than just sending $250 at one time. Don't. Support Ukraine if you can. Support it. Don't stop every month if you can. No one likes us talking, broadcasting. Will Europe be able to buy Patriot systems from America? It doesn't look like it. Like, Trump is restricting everything. Trump is sabotaging the relationships between the allies. He's basically blackmailing allies to not send the intelligence data to Ukraine. More than that, he is forcing companies such as Maxar Technologies, the satellite imagery company. He's going after private companies and restricting them to sending images to Ukraine. And this goes kind of like next step beyond, because Maxar came out with a statement that no, we're actually just on the government contract with United States. So if United States don't want to follow up on this contract, then we're not going to go. But the thing is that I know some of the open source intelligence community guys that used to purchase images from Maxar about the war in Ukraine, and they have been denied new images from the war in Ukraine. Now, maybe they changed their policy, maybe something different is now happening, but I've definitely been told, at least by the guys that definitely purchased images from Maxar, and they're private individuals, that private individuals also could not buy the images from Maxar. So it was basically a statement that's like, even if you're private, like even if it's not Ukrainian state, you still cannot buy it. Oh yeah, some super chats. Yeah, let's go over super chats because you guys are amazing. Yvonne Way, thank you so much. Big thanks to the mods. Agree. And thank you so much for being a member for 22 months. Antonio Spios, thank you so much for $50. Appreciate it. PW, thank you so much for being a member for 28 months. I love to our moderators. True. Luke Dodson, welcome to being Zelensky supporter. That's the highest tier, I believe. No, wait, or is it the high of the... Anyway, it's one of the bigger tiers. Thanks so much for being a big super supporter for this channel. Appreciate it. This channel is now my livelihood, so it helps me live and do stuff behind the scenes that I will tell you about hopefully soon. Blaze Game, thank you so much for 10 quid. Appreciate it. Thank you for everything. Thanks for the mod team and the community. Yes, community is incredible and amazing. Okay, let's see. A couple more questions. Russell Lumbers, looks like EU is going to help out. It will. Dutch, when you will think Russia will run out of economic means to continue the war? Not in the nearest couple of years. Russell Lumbers, sorry about Trump advance, real poor leadership. Yes, they are. NGC 7603B, who should lead the AFEU? AFEU. I'm imagining you're talking about the armed forces of the European Union, like because I haven't seen this abbreviation beforehand. So if it's armed forces of European Union, it can be a rotating command. It can be command that is going to be guided by the local states that are mostly engulfed in the problem. There are plenty of solutions, but it will require kind of dipping into ego. And so far, it seems that their ego is still very strong within the European Union. So I would not expect this to happen. But maybe coalition of the willing will agree on that. Tia Opals, Trump is facilitating the genocide of Ukrainians. How is this not a war crime or a breach of NATO policy? The US was a member, then Trump crossed over the aggression side. Can we demand, can he be tried? Okay, so let's talk about this. Because I hear this a lot, like, and people write those like, oh my God, Trump is doing this. Why is no one doing anything? So 2 points. Point number one, there is no international law. It's dead. It's been killed. It's none. Like, there is no. UN is worse than League of Nations by this point, okay? And I'm talking like late League of Nations, not like the starting point. UN is garbage, dog shit, useless, absolute trash. There is no international law. There is no one there to enforce it. It's all a fever dream of some countries that are still playing pretend that it's real. It's not. Get over it. That's the first flag. That's the first kind of point that we need to agree. So any kind of world tribunal, some kind of police coming for dictators and so on, it's not. It was possible in a rules-based world order. We have had a moment when Russia started challenging that rule-based world order, but, and this is on Biden and their strategy that they chose, it failed, they lost, there is no more rule-based world order. It's gone. That's it. We're all over it, like, okay? We can talk extensively if you want later on about what is the new world order, we need to finally go over it. And this community, forget that exists. It doesn't. There is no more UN. There is no international tribunal. There is no one there that will come and help you. There is no one there that will come and prosecute the bad guys. None. Period. That is one thing. Second thing, with regards to Trump and doing bad things like stopping aid to Ukraine, committing genocide, thinking about the deportation and removal of amnesty rights of 240,000 Ukrainian refugees. All of these things, again, coming from the point number one, there is no one about him. It is not that he does this and doesn't realize that it's bad. It's he does this and he revels in the fact that it's bad. You know, like computer games or role-playing games or whatever other like games, they're just people that love to play the bad guy because they revel in this bad guy power fantasy. Trump and his administration and so on, they revel in the power fantasy that they are world leaders. They're reveling in the fact that at their fingertips is the life and well-being of people, that they are the ones that decide who lives, who dies, who eats today, who doesn't eat today. The breaking of any rules, norms, and removal of what they're doing from any kind of human morals, that's the whole point. That is the whole point. It's not a bug that is just happening. It's them reveling in this and flexing their power just to piss everyone off and show off that there is nothing that you or anyone else can do to them. That is the whole point. So it's like, that's why like all of these like, oh my God, how Trump can do this? It's like, what did you expect? Like the guy literally is a power hungry. It's like that's the like when we're talking about power hungry, what do you think we mean? So I hope. Well, maybe I'm not with one speech, but I definitely will start repeating this a lot more often, especially with people like trying is like, oh, but United Nations should prosecute this guy. It's like that's just insane. William Palmer, do you think Ukraine should totally give up on trying to gain anything from MAGA and just rely on Europe and allies? What is there to lose at this point with the US has already removed the intel and aid? William, important point. Diplomacy is weird, right? Especially when you're talking with like dictators and so on. Because dictators, when there is like a single source of power, they can flip-flop whenever they want. And it doesn't matter for them what's the opinion polls, what agreements there are, it doesn't matter. So Trump right now is bad for Ukraine, but you know, there might be an option when, I don't know, he's bribed enough, because obviously it's driven by corruption at some point, at some level, at some point, or either bribed on his ego, you know, you can name it whatever you want. Like, I'm going to call it a bribe. So when he's bribed enough, then potentially he's just like, well, maybe I'm going to flip. Like, because I don't see Trump being ideologically charged for Putin. I think he's playing his game. I think he likes Putin because he wants to be like Putin. But I don't think he's like full Putin supporter. Like, I think he wants what is better for Trump. So it's not that everyone should just give up and move on. I think everyone should move on. But it doesn't mean that diplomats just should sit on their hands and do nothing. I think that diplomacy should still be tasked to see if any kind of ease of Trump's insane things that he's doing to Ukraine can be eased up. But that shouldn't be the priority. So, and it seems that that's about what is happening. That we see that European Union is kind of like slowly but surely is moving beyond the reliance on the United States and any kind of expectations of anything, well, good from United States. But they're still like saying is like, well, if we can, delay the tariffs from Trump, or we can incentivize him giving some help to Ukraine, or at least not restricting that help, that's a potential win. And that's what diplomacy is for. It's the age of empires diplomacy. JB Well, thank you so much for $50. I think Trump and Elon are definitely going to break up at some point. Trump will dump Elon and blame him, but Elon's billionaire with a social media presence and won't just roll over. That will be a significant moment. Slava Ukraini. Here I'm Slava, my friend, but like, to be honest, like it's an authoritarian rules cabinet. I've seen this before. This is basically how Putin started, and everything that I've seen so far at the Trump's cabinet is pretty much one-to-one how the Putin started. So literally putting the people that are based exclusively on loyalty into his cabinet, making them quibble between each other, Elon Musk versus Marco Rubio, and then making like these judgments like as a king, stating is like, oh, this guy is right today, this guy is right tomorrow, and then a couple of months later flip-flop to give more power to the one guy and then to the other. It's court politics. It's literally, this is not a democracy, the process-based work of, or department-based works. It's a royal court. And they try to gain the favor of the king. That's it. All right. Stephen Bendel, is Ukraine still getting satellite photos? With Maxar still sell satellite directly to Ukraine, or did the Trump stop it? Slava Ukraini, he stopped it. But there are other companies that are doing similar things that to Maxar. Hey Daniel, thank you so much for giving 5 memberships. Appreciate it, man. Susan Action, can Orban get in the way of the new European initiative? No, and he already did. Like, guys, what you need to understand with Orban, he loves money. Like, he loves money. Because if you look at, like, and I should have talked about this right away, is that this initiative has been already approved by all countries, all 27 countries. The only thing that Orban didn't participate is in a statement that we will support Ukraine more. That's it. Orban supported the initiative because it's like literally free money for him. Like, duh. Why would he deny it? No, so he took it. He was very happy. He agreed to initiative, but he also didn't support the statement that he's in support for Ukraine. Orban is not like, oh, I'm just gonna go against everything that Europe does. No, that's not his modus operandi. Data relay, Georgie, shouldn't European countries at least begin to send in non-combat forces like medical and military trainees? Data relay, European Union, Europe, everyone should have been like day one sending in their own militaries into Ukraine. And I can guarantee you that would not be a problem. That would not be causing some kind of a World War III scenario. I know, it's like, Georgie, no, I know for sure that this would be counted as the war of NATO against Russia, and Putin would nuke us and so on and yada yada. It's like, and this has been said to me every single time about every single thing. Every single thing is like, oh my God, Georgie, but like if we send lethal weapons to Ukraine, Putin's gonna nuke us. And then we send lethal weapons, nothing happens. And then he's like, Georgie, but if we start sending artillery to Ukraine, Putin's gonna nuke us. And then we send artillery and Putin doesn't nuke us. And then it's like, Georgie, but like if we send in the armored vehicles, Putin's gonna nuke us. And then we send vehicles and Putin doesn't nuke us. And then it's like, Georgie, but if we send tanks, Putin's gonna nuke us. And then we send tanks and Putin doesn't nuke us. And then Georgie, if we send planes, then Putin's gonna nuke us. And then we send planes and Putin doesn't nuke us. Do you get where I'm coming from? Right? It's not that this like pattern because we're boiling the frog slowly. It's because he's not going to. That's it. That's the simple answer. Is the video starting soon? No, I just forgot to remove the graphics. Canada, I just showed up. Congratulations, everyone. My question is, there is anything I can representatives for Canada for help to you? Wait. I just showed up. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you. Congratulations to you too, my friend. My question is there anything more I can ask my representative to Canada to help Ukraine? I need to help more. I always feel so bad I can't do more. Yes, send in the troops. We just talked like, send in the troops. Putin is not going to nuke us. Small balls. That's the answer. Like you want to hear the answer, the actual answer about like why European Union, United States, and anyone is not sending their weapons, everything that Ukraine needs, or sending in their military to help protect Ukraine. Small balls. That's the truthful answer. That is the truthful answer. That is the answer of truth. Just that's it. All right, let's read something that's like the state of affairs, like the important part. So let's switch to this one. So this is the campaign page. So we actually went over 250,000. We went to 252,455. The page will be open still for, I believe, like a week or a little bit more than a week. If they get like obviously extra couple of money and maybe additional 10,000, they will buy new trucks. If not, they will say they will buy some drones or additional equipment, yada yada, stuff like that. And you can still donate to get like patches or these pins and so on. So if you want to get a patch for this campaign, you can still do it for the next week. So there's huge thanks for everything, and we're gonna read the comments that people left on this page because there is a lot. So let's read some of them. Wayne Gemmel. Sorry if I'm going to be butchering the names, by the way, in advance. What is a good organization that is a U.S. qualified charity? Razom for Ukraine is pretty good. Razom for Ukraine is pretty nice, but any kind of big charity is by the default you need to take into account. You seem annoyed. No, I'm not annoyed. I'm annoyed that this war still goes on. That is why I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that instead of my channel already closing down, locking the key, and I go fuck off, do my own thing, like we are sitting here And we are not able to find the solution for the simplest question there is how does Ukraine win? Because the answer is simple. We give Ukraine shit and they win. Instead, we are contemplating on existential challenges of our internal minds, whether or not we want to be fighting Russians in this war or do we want to fight Russians in the next war, whether or not we want to stop this advancements of evil and preserve the world international order, the peace-based world order, or we want to give Putin some land and then we find some kind of negotiated semi-solution and so on. Whether we want to have some kind of unity of NATO, like with the last term of Joe Biden, and just get Russia, get big win, like big dig victory, everyone wins. And instead, we fuck around flimsy, drip feeding Ukraine for weapons and ammunition, putting up restraints, putting up chains on Ukrainians, causing like hundreds of thousands of lives lost inside of Ukraine. Insanity. I'm annoyed because this shit is still going on. That is why I'm annoyed. Like, there is nothing better that I would want to do. It's like, if this would bring the war to an end, like this, like tomorrow Russia fucks off and then Ukraine finally gets the just peace, I would throw away this channel in an instant. Like, if this would help Ukraine win. Like, if me stopping doing this channel and so on, because I don't care about popularity, I don't matter. Nothing about this, this guy is mattering at all. Ukraine is mattering because that is literally defining a whole way of life and future for generations to come. Except like when I was talking about 2-3 years ago, people will say, "Ha, funny guy on the internet." And now 3 years later, we're fucking in an existential crisis where NATO is not working, United States is not working, everything is not working. And then I was like, well, I don't want to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so. That's why I'm annoyed. Anyway, this community is great. We did good change. Yeah, I know. If it could change, it would change. I know, my friend. Like, it's just, I'm not annoyed at this community. I'm annoyed at the politicians, at the people with real power, not the YouTube guy. Like, we are doing our part. Like, the point that I'm annoyed with the most, is that we are doing our part. Like, insane. Look at this. Look at this. 3 months. 3 months. We're delivering actual help. We're delivering to all of these guys so more of them can potentially survive. All of these faces, it's real guys on real front lines. They're going to be really benefiting and potentially they're going to be able to survive longer because we are doing our parts. And my issue is that if while we're doing our parts, then the big guys and big wigs are doing something like, ooh, like they're trying to discover how bananas work. Putin needs a scooter, true. All right. Wayne, what is a good organization? It's Razum for Ukraine. Yes. Eric, fuck Trump and Putin, Axel. True. Thank you so much for the donations. Bjorn, don't let the baboon in the White House pressure you to surrender. Sweden stands with you, Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much, Sweden. Alexandra Aquila, your resilience is an inspiration to the world. Long live Ukraine. Long live Ukraine, indeed. Tony Torres, stay strong. Europe is strengthening up. Praise God. We will, for sure. Andrew, support from Portland, Portland OR. What is OR? Orlando? Is it Orlando? OR? I hope it's Orlando. Yes to Ukraine, no to dump on Putin. Oregon, thank you so much. Why did I thought Orlando? That's so weird. It's not even a state. Is Orlando a state? I don't think it's a state. Oregon. Canada stands with Ukraine. We stand with Canada. You and it was like Canada stands with Ukraine. 500 euro the guy sent. Insane. Orlando is a city. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, like stupid European guy here. Orlando is in Florida. Yeah, true. Thank you so much, everyone, for donations that don't leave the comments. So, like, I just don't skip it, like I just say. I will not abandon the people of Ukraine. I'm in it to win it. We are not fighting the Russia on multiple fronts. The United States may learn too late that it is in need of a revolution of dignity. Europe, for that matter, must commit. 2 EU nations with boots on the ground and collective EU air and sea support. We need to march on Moscow and improve the works that has started all. So true, like every single word. I totally subscribe. I mean, maybe march on Moscow would be like a bit overkill because there is a danger of a nuclear escalation if we literally go to Moscow. That would be a bit crazy. But going in Ukraine would literally change nothing. Claudia Kokis, or I don't know, I'm sorry for butchering your name. Together we are stronger. Slava Ukraini. Heroям Slava, my friend. Claude, keep on the fight. You are strong. Yes, Ukraine is strong. Klaus Esperson, thank you for standing up against evil. Slava Ukraini. Heroям Slava, my friends. France stands with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. Absolutely. And again, thank you so much to everyone that is donating without. Per Christofsen, thank you so much. Slava Ukraini. Sorry about our criminal president. American citizens still stand with Ukraine. We love you guys. Stay safe. We will definitely try to make sure that Ukraine stays safe because this community is doing its part. Len van der Abel, dear Ukrainian people, as the USA is shifting their stance on the war started by Russia almost daily under the Trump administration, know that European and Canadians will not abandon you. Stand strong as Ukraine has heroically done for the last 3 years while our government arm Ukraine and rearm Europe as soon as possible. Sadly, I do not control how fast our government work, but please accept this small personal token of support. Slava Ukraini. Heroям Slava, and thank you so much for the donation. Bev Buri, I am an American citizen and I abhor that our government is abandoning Ukraine. I just learned of this fundraiser and I'm happy to contribute. Thank you so much, Bev. Nicolas Duchesne, sorry for butchering again. Fuck Putin, fuck Trump, Slava Ukraini from Brussels, Belgium. Yeah, Brussels is becoming a big hotspot for our Beatrice. The decent world stands at your side until victory. Thank you for your courage. True. Oriel, glory to heroes, glory to Ukraine. Jose Marie Cuerdo, to help the fight the freedom of Ukrainian heroes. Josip Batnic, Slava Ukraini from Croatia, HR. Let's see. Jens Meyer, every bit counts in the fight for freedom. Proud to support Ukraine, brave resistance against Russian tyranny with my small contribution towards the 25 trucks. Keep pushing forward. You are not alone. Greetings from Germany. Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much, Jens. Kimo Sivan, Slava Ukraini from the USA. Thank you, Kimo. Ade Hornibrook, thank you. And again, I'm very sorry for butchering. Thank you, Ukraine, for protecting freedom and democracy. Richard says, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Glad to see my fiber drone is effective. Coming back soon with more weapons designed for Ukraine to manufacture. Ooh, insane. Hano, Slava Ukraini, thank you so much, my friend. I'll read one page more and then we'll come back to questions. We need to get through everything today. Maya Christova, you're the best, most amazing people on earth. Love you to death. Much respect from Bulgaria. I joined that wholeheartedly. Ule says, Slava Ukraini. Absolutely, my friend. William, American fascist press can go F themselves. True. Niels Effer, Slava Ukraini, fuck Trump. From the United States, sorry, our president is a jackass. Mildred Walker, I'm a widow and close to 80 years old on a small pension. Small because being a black immigrant to Canada, I would guess. For over 46 years, I was never fully employed meaningfully. However, I know how to do basic things on a computer, but I do nothing financially online unless a government document forces me to do so. This is because I do not trust the internet with all the scammers. I do not need any recognition for this donation. I just need to know that you get the funds and my CC card is safe. And if so, I might be able to make other small donations later. Stay safe, all your warriors, and may the Almighty continue to give strength to you and your magnificent president, Mildred. Guys, I want to say thank you so much to Mildred, and I want us all to say, like, can you please get a blue and a yellow heart in chat for Mildred? Thank you so much, Mildred. Thank you so much for being such a kind-hearted person. We need more people like that, and not people that are ruling the US right now. David Yergin, not everyone in the USA is as big as a jerk as our president and vice president. Many of us still believe that helping innocent people is important. True. Fuck Trump, Vance, Musk, and Putin. Long live Ukraine. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. Agree, my friend. David Huntington, thank you for supporting freedom and democracy. We'll continue on. Nicholas, from Canada with love. We love you and we support Ukraine to victory. And everyone here obviously supports Canada as well. David, if my government won't do it, I'll do what I can. Yes, and we are doing our part, and we will continue doing our part. Thank you so much, David. Ukrainians are the best people in the world. Definitely, they're showing us, like, you know what Ukrainians are doing? They're basically holding a mirror to us. That is what's happening. Because everything that has happened, like everyone's saying, is like, when Ukraine is finally gonna give up. When Ukraine is finally going to give up and roll over and surrender to Russia. And it turns out that it was the United States. Insane. Insanity, right? Ukrainians are literally just holding up a mirror and just saying, like, and just showing us all just how full of shit we are. Incredible people. Stay strong. We are many, there are few. Yes. Rob Guy, Canada is behind you 100%. Love the brave people of Ukraine. Marta, hang on, brave Ukraine. I can only contribute small amount, but hope everyone will do so too. My heart is with you. Fuck Putin and Trump. Slava Ukraini. Slava Ukraini, time for the EU to dump the United States for a more reliable weapons provider. The EU itself. Yes. Yes. Jan Rudzitsky, thank you so much for 500 euros. And I believe, Jan, actually, you are donating multiple times. I think I'm donating to this fundraiser for the fourth... Oh, yeah, there it is. For the fourth month in a row, and I'm so proud to see it almost complete. Europe will keep supporting you, and you will have our eternal gratitude for your service. Keep up the fight. Glory to Ukraine. Thank you, Jan, and thank you for doing your part. George Carney, as an American, I'm ashamed of the way the President Zelensky was treated by Trump. Please accept my apologies. Thank you, George. We know that it was a setup. We know that it wasn't all for real. Richard, Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes, Slava Nazi, Smert нашим ворогам, glory to nations, death to our enemies. Agreed. Santi Masponis Bonet, donate, freedom is not free. Freedom is not free, that's for true. Chris Deming, I apologize for the orange morons treatment of President Zelensky. Zelensky was the only leader in that room, Slava Ukraini. Yeah, but again, we know that it was a setup. Robert Littlewood, thank you for all you do support the defenders of Ukraine, and thank you for the brave defenders of Ukraine and democracy. I appreciate what you do, my friend. Emma, sorry for butchering again. I stand with Ukraine and their President Zelensky, the bravest of the people on earth. I mean, yeah, in his shoes, like, if Trump would be in that option, whether he needs to flee or stay in Kiev, he would definitely flee. Deepest respect for the Ukrainian people, the warriors, and their presidency. Glory to Ukraine. Uwe, best wishes from Germany, Slava Ukraini, and thank you to Tom for the previous one. All right, let's jump back to the questions, and then we're gonna come back to the reading of the people that have been contributing to this campaign over the last 3 months. Their contribution is epic. That was the question about Orban. Yeah, this was more a statement. Okay, Johan is saying, would 1 billion euro towards Ukrainian war production give more than $1 billion worth of American weapons? How much? About 4 billion. The ratio of production inside of EU or United States towards the ratio of what Ukraine can output is about 4-1. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but on average, from what I've seen calculated is about 4-1. So 1 billion euro invested in Ukrainian own defenses is like 4 billion we would use in our own place. Steve saying, hey Georgies, will the EU take the frozen Russian funds to purchase US weapons for Ukraine to use? It depends on Belgium. Like majority of those assets are held inside Belgium. So Belgium has been reluctant to release them. If they do, then probably we will do it something. But so far, it's unclear. Ken Router, what has to happen for each country to build the same weapon system? Like France and England building the Leopard 2 and each country building the same rifle and machine gun. Yeah, that is redundancy. That shouldn't be done, ideally. Amy, how are things in Suja? I'm worried about the guys. Things are pretty bad. Like, let's jump to the map and I'll explain. So right now, a long story short, so Russians have been pushing in two directions. They've basically decided that since Ukrainians control this area is too strong for Russia essentially to take on. They tried so hard to take on multiple directions. And Russia had always had advantage in this area with significant advantage. We're talking about 3-1 to like 4-1. That is the ratios that we're talking about. For every one Ukrainian, there's been like at least 4 Russians, which is significant advantage that they have. So beforehand, Russia tried to kind of push the Ukrainians out from the sides of this area. It didn't really work. Since then, they refined their plan. So now they decided, okay, if we cannot push the Ukrainians out, let's starve them. So they decide there is like one road that supplies Ukrainians with the supplies. So they kind of moved from this side, they pushed this way, and most importantly, they pushed to Sverdlikova and then pushed downwards towards the road. And then they were in this area, they tried to push kind of downwards here, and then they pushed towards this area, also towards that road. So Ukrainian positions in the main part of the area around Suja and so on are relatively strong. What is suffering, however, is their supply line. Right now, Russians have control over the supply line with their firepower. So there is enough fire already on this supply line. And this is basically a question for Ukrainians. Basically, stay or go. That is what it is. If it's a go, then they need to, while this line is being held, they need to start evacuating the forces from the Kursk area. So we will see then probably that slowly Russia will kind of take over parts here, 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 and then they will kind of close the border. Or the second option, if Ukraine says we stay, then Ukrainians will need to dedicate a lot more forces, additional forces, to fight off the Russian advances on this supply line. So we will need to see then Ukrainians kind of push Russians out here and then maybe retake some of the area right over here. And basically that's how by the map we will be judging what is going to be happen. So is situation threatening right now? Yes. Is it like devastatingly bad? Not completely. There are like, obviously it's not good, but like it's not devastatingly bad. Right now is these like the choice basically has come for Ukrainians. Stay or go. That's the part of the Kursk situation. Kursk has been a huge success for Ukraine. Huge success. And you shouldn't look at Kursk situation and like, oh, if Ukrainians are going to be pulling out, it's going to be bad. It's like Ukrainians would prefer to fight on the territory of Russia, but it doesn't really matter where to fight them, to be honest. So it's part of the war, part of the bigger war. So the most important thing is to preserve the forces and do the right decisions at the right time. So what about Pokrovsk? Okay, let's talk about Pokrovsk. So Pokrovsk is basically the exactly the opposite from the Kursk. Russia is having huge trouble at Pokrovsk. Huge trouble. So there is this village, there is this settlement of Selidove, which has been like a big hub for Russians. So, and Russians try to push Ukrainians along this line, and like, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So just, this is Pokrovsk and Mirnograd. This is their goal of Russians. This is their target, and this is a target, you see? This is okay. This never mind. You understood what it is. So this is what Russia wants to capture. So they said, okay, let's try to move here, and then we move there, and then we kind of capture this, and there's like whoop, and there's whoop, and then we like pow, 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 pew, 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 and that was the Russian plan. It didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. So they struggled with two parts. So I'm gonna keep the target over here. So they struggled with the part over here because this area is pretty hilly, and Ukrainians kind of have still a lot of defensive lines in the area, and they additionally fortified this. So Russians kind of approached this as like, ha ha ha, we cut your road. What you gonna do now? And then they couldn't advance anymore. So I was like, okay, cool. And then they decided, because they were running low on resources, like I told you, like as Russians were becoming weaker and weaker and weaker, the area of their efforts kind of shrunk more. So they abandoned kind of their efforts. I mean, they still have forces in the area, but they abandoned their main efforts from the area and then dedicated them to this area here. And here, this is where we're coming back to my initial point. In this area on the south, and this is the target, remember? So in this area on the south, there is this village of Selidove. And this village of Selidove was pretty important because it basically was the gateway to Pokrovsk. And Russia is like, ha ha ha, we took the gateway to Pokrovsk. Let's go on. And as they were approaching further and further, they realized one very important thing. So this area over here, there's a lot of open fields. So there's like fields. So beforehand, Russians were moving. I'm gonna do my crazy art, like just post. So imagine there is like a tree. This is a tree. And then there is another tree line. There is a tree line. So, and Russians would be like at this tree line, and then they're like, oh, okay, we have some time. Now we send forces to the next tree line. And they would do it like all along these various tree lines. So they would send many of these forces of like 4 to 5 men from different tree lines, or if it's not tree line, then there is like a buildings from buildings, and like in short bursts, they would move like from settlement to settlement, tree line to tree line, building to building, in these like flowing like ants, like ants just going in small groups all over. And this created issues for Ukrainians because they don't have like so much concentrated forces in the area, and Russians would always be able to flank them or outmaneuver them, and Ukrainians would also fall back. But in this area over here, there is a lot of open space. So here you can have like a tree line, and then there is nothing, and then maybe there is a tree line. And then there's Russians, they're like, okay, let's send in our small groups. And then small groups go, and then there is like Russians. They're walking to the next tree line. And then there is like a drone with wings. And then Russians is like, oh no, drone, hide. And then they're like, well, we're too far from this tree line, and we're too far from this tree line, and we're in open space. Where do we? And then they don't finish the sentence because drone blows them up. And Russians found trouble that the further they kind of went to this area, the more open the terrain become. And they're like, well, this is bad. So because the best targets for Russians, for Ukrainian drones, is actually not just the Russians themselves. It's actually the vehicles. So the Russian vehicle would just like, okay, there is Russian that's sitting on the vehicle, and there is like a long field, and there is the tree line in far away. And then the vehicle is like, I'm getting to tree line. And then the drone again attacks, and vehicle is blown up. So that's basically what happens to Russians in this area. So they realize that they cannot do their old tactics, they cannot do their new tactics, and they're like, okay, we're stuck. Well, what do we do now? And they're just being destroyed. So they started crying, and they've been crying for the last like month and a half. They say that past the Selidove, this point over here, they cannot really use any vehicles. So all of this area, they're literally using like mules, just walking and taking the every ammunition and everything on their backs. It's not very efficient. So they're having trouble advancing anywhere just because it's a very, very bad, very bad area for them. And instead, Ukrainians are like, all right, if we're having drones, let's basically use a lot of drones, and then we use a lot of these drones all over the Russian main supply routes. So then Russians that were supplying their forces with their carry-on bags of their equipment, suddenly Ukrainian drones has been flying there 24/7 non-stop in huge quantities, basically like wild bees and donkeys as well. And then Ukrainians started blowing everyone up. So and then the guys that ended up over here, they're like, oh shit, we have no resources and no one is coming. And then Ukrainians changed their commander, and the commander was actually more competent, and he said, let's attack to them. So now Ukrainians basically starved Russians for resources in this salient, and they're basically attacking, and they're taking apart Russians that have poor access to resources. Now, this is a challenge for Russians because there's a lot of Russians. There's a lot of Russians. So it's not as easy as you just waltz in and just take over the Russians and so on, because it's still war. Like Russians are, and like, you know, not very good fighters, but it's still a lot of them. And quantity has the quality of their own. So nothing is kind of easy for Ukrainians, but also Russians are also not having a very good time. I would say they are having pretty bad time. So literally pretty much the same that Russia wants to do in Kursk, cut off the supply and just start pummel the main forces. That's what Ukraine is doing right now to Russians. It's not a full counteroffensive. It's just Ukrainians, they got some fresh forces, and these fresh forces are now pummeling the Russians, and Russians are having a bad time. I hope I explained it understandably. And I've been improving with my drawing skills. I know. Thank you. It's all me. Neil is saying, very late to show, as to be honest. I have been trying to avoid Ukraine updates because I was finding it all quite depressive. To be honest, I don't think that depressive is the right state of mind to be in. We need to understand why the news is bad. I always try to point you guys to the big picture, right? Big picture is important. Big picture is more important than small picture. So when we're talking about why Zelensky doesn't want United States to go away and why he would like to deal with Trump, and I told you, because it's going to be causing a lot of pain for Ukrainians. A lot more people is going to die, and a lot more Ukrainian warriors going to die, and they're going to lose some capabilities. It's not a good place to be in. So that's why Zelensky needs to go. But also, in my last video, I talked very extensively about specifically that Ukrainians are assessing and saying, I was like, where we actually, can still fight the Russians and so on. So we're right now in this short-term consequences period where Ukrainians are experiencing the worst end of this short-term removal of US support. It's the adaptation period. Long-term, there's still paths for Ukraine to adapt and get better at many things, including air defense and fighting against Russians and getting funds from the EU. But right now, we're in this a little bit of a pain period, and we just need to realize that. So I wouldn't treat it as depressing and bad and so on. Obviously, it's awful, but that's the world that we live in. The main point is that we're doing our part. That's the good part. Yeah, at least the EU has been finally doing something. True. Canada, thank you so much for being a member for 19 months. Send in the troops. True. Luke Hawkinson, thank you so much for being welcome to Brother in Arms. Fabricio, welcome to Brother in Arms. Appreciate it. Jenny, thank you so much for 100 Swedish krona. Appreciate it. Steve, thank you so much for 5 Australian bucks. An angry and pissed off Georgie is a champion of Ukraine matters. Yeah, true. Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher this. Observersum? I'm gonna butcher this. Thank you, Plus. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for 10 francs. Arctic Raven, thank you so much for giving 5 Ukraine members memberships. And Captain Copenhagen, welcome back, my friend. And thank you so much for 17 kronos. I'm gonna buy myself an Odense Classic for that. Yes. Kingdom of Macedonia, Ukraine matters. Do you support pan-Europeism? Yes, but I do not support European Federation. Like it's weird. I want Europe to be strong, but I believe that the European Union project, when it's a United State, well, when it's like, it's like a United States of Europe, when there is like a federal government, I don't think that this is the way to go. I think we are very close with our current setup to what is the optimal for us to work with. I only think that there is like one thing that is still killing us, which is unanimity. Unanimity on questions is still killing us, and we need a better way. How do we approach problems, and how do we specifically approach crises? Many crises. That is the kind of the thing that I think that this is the kind of the idea that we still need to improve in Europe. But other than that, I really think that the European Union is probably one of the best, if not the best, that things that will happen to humanity. Crises. Thank you. I skeptical. Appreciate the spelling out. Yeah, it's a percent majority instead of unanimity, Russell, but it's not always percent majority because, it's like it's percent majority of the countries, or is it percent majority of the population? Is it percent majority of the economy? Is the percent majority of importance? There's a lot more that needs to be decided, various situation can require various things. Does Ukraine still have Starlink? Yes. But I think everyone is expecting that it's going to be turned off at some point soon. EU Confederation? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, one of the biggest comments that you get in like people that after visiting Europe is like, wow, everything is like so clean and so nice. And it's like, yes, because we made it this way. European Union is, I love the European Union because it's so much human focused. I mean, it's not perfect. There's many countries that still struggle. Many countries that like are arguably not even fully democratic. So it's very, very different. But I think the main idea is the fact that we found a way for countries to interact without fighting each other. That is golden. That is absolute gold. We have been generating so much wealth altogether, even if each individual country is not perfect. Let me come back to some of the questions that people wrote, because I feel a little bit bad that I ask for people to write questions and then I don't answer them. All right, I'm going to skip some of the questions just so I get to maybe some fresher ones. Arturus Luxus, why no one, especially media, doesn't talk that US was the only one country that activated Article 5 after 9/11 and now Trump is duping NATO? I don't think that, I think it is being talked about. And guys, okay, so I want my community also to be educated, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about Article 5. Article 5 of NATO and why it is dead. So I already mentioned that the United Nations is dead, but the Article 5 of NATO is dead. NATO is dead. So all of the Mark Rutte talking about was like, no, NATO is still the bedrock. No. Mark Rutte just doesn't want to get associated yet by being the last what is it called? The last Secretary General of NATO, I guess. It's like, but NATO is dead. Like factually, at least while the Trump administration is there, it's dead. So Article 5 That's the important, because a lot of people assume that Article 5 is like a burglar alarm. And basically, once the country gets invaded, then other countries basically must send in forces, and then it's gonna be automatically protected, and then there's like gonna be U.S. planes flying over, destroying whoever is even trying to attack. Let's read it. So Article 5, the parties agree that an armed attack against one or more of them in the Europe or North America shall be considered an attack against them all. And consequently, they agree that if such an armed attack occurs, each of them, in exercise of right of individual or collective self-defense recognized by the Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations, will assist the party of the or parties so attacked by taking forthwith individual and in concern with the other parties, such actions as it deems necessary, including the use of armed force to restore and maintain the security of the North Atlantic area. So, what is the key point in this? Well, the key point is this statement. I'm going to highlight it for you. Such action as it deems necessary. So, to get it straight, if the Baltics are invaded tomorrow, they trigger Article 5, then United States gets their cabinet, the Trump's cabinet, and then they say, what action would secure the security in our perception? And then they decide, well, no action, maybe. That would not stop Putin. But let's instead try to give away Baltics to Putin. That is a reasonable action. Let's pressure Baltics to surrender parts of their territory. Or let's give away Latvia and Estonia, and then we can preserve Lithuania. The point is that this is purely subjective. Whatever each specific party decides goes. So the whole point of the Article 5, it is built on trust and fully mutual understanding that 100% for whatever situation happens, there is going to be a military response. Everything else is just fluff. Like literally everything else is just fluff. So who in this chat can now look me in the eye and tell me, no, if tomorrow Putin invades Estonia and his forces start rolling in, that Trump for sure, like 100% is going to send in US forces to fight the Russians. I can guarantee you no one. Can guarantee you. Unless you're pulling my pizzle. Sorry, yanking my pizzle. If you're yanking my pizzle, then you can say so. But obviously, there is no trust. That's it. And if there is no trust, then the article is null and void. And an article is basically the bedrock of NATO. Right now, it's very clear that we are in a sense of coalition of the willing. NATO is just is just a framework that we're operating under. But the bedrock of NATO is not existing anymore. It's gone. There is no more collective defense alliance. It is only you and the friends that you have that will potentially, maybe, just maybe, will come to aid you if they decide so as well, because the same applies to every single other country as well. So we are like, there is the facade of NATO that is still being discussed. But it is, NATO Article 5 has been there and is there only for America. That's it. That's it. If America decides to go to war, then the countries will probably agree to go for war for America. But America will not necessarily go. So the framework of NATO will remain, the whole thing. But the whole discussion that Article 5 is unbreakable, Trump is fully dedicated, bullshit. Bullshit. Oh, and there's another. There's another, by the way. So you know how my biggest gripe so far. Let me find this. Yeah, there we go. Have you heard of this one? I'm pretty sure you've maybe heard about this. The Srebrenica massacre, when there was a genocide of many thousands of people in Srebrenica, ethnic cleansing in Yugoslavia. One of the main, I believe, drivers for NATO invasion. So in this important aspect, there is one specific things that was like, oh, maybe, yeah. In this specific case, there was one very interesting point. The part of failure to demilitarize. So the point is that there was 600 Dutch soldiers that were present in Srebrenica when things were happening, and they failed to engage. They failed to protect the people being essentially executed, and even like there are some allegations that they even helped the essentially prosecutions against civilians to take place. So there's it's a very condemned, and I watched like rewatched this couple of times, how the modern Dutch soldiers that survived this, and how they were telling the story, and they're telling the story that, you know, there was nothing we can do. Like if we would engage the enemy, it would be suicide, and this brought us to the place where I think we are now. We are having some kind of discussion that potentially, if there is some kind of ceasefire, that the Europeans will send in their peacekeepers to Ukraine. My problem with that is I don't see Europeans being ready for war. We are talking about investing into our defense. We're talking about being protected from the Russians. What I do not see is I don't see resolve of Europeans to actually go fight and die against Russians. And that is the kind of the last gate that my hope is we will overcome somehow. Because if Europeans would be ready to fight to defend Ukraine, then the time to fight is now. Like now. Ukraine needs the Sky Shield not after some shitty ass peace plan. It needs the Sky Shield now because Russia is firing missiles now. If we're just gonna send in like couple tens of thousands of troops, and then I don't know, there's like some shitty agreement, and then these troops supposedly will oversee something. Who says that they're not gonna be like these Dutch troops that was there? And then Russia is just gonna roll over Ukraine, commit massacre, commit atrocities, and European troops are just gonna be like, there was nothing we could have done. And that is my question for the Europeans. That is the question that we still need to answer to ourselves, whether we're ready or not. Because the fact that we're still discussing that there's some kind of shitty peace plan on the table, that is inexcusable. We have the tools to stop the killing, yet we do very little to do so. We're just like, let Ukraine handle it. We're not ready to get our hands dirty. And this is where I'm still in big disagreement with the European leaders. And I rewatch the documentary on the Srebrenica massacre often. And specifically, like how the Dutch forces helped separate some civilians from other civilians. And they say like, well, we helped to preserve the lives of women and children. So we only allowed them to execute the man or the other. Insane. So my hope is we're not going to be that. That's not the Europe that I want to see. All right. We've been up for an hour and a half. Let's we still need to read through the messages from the guys from the statement. We need 4 hours live stream. Man, like I'm almost 40. Like I really am not cut out to be a live streamer, seriously. Like these long hours and so on, that is for youngsters. I'm a bit too old for this shit. I cannot do it like what is it, Rick? I cannot do it anymore like Rick. I need my daddy nap. All right, let's read something from the guys that were supporting Ukraine. Anatoly and Maria Tatarov, Ukrainian Australians stand with Ukraine. Screw Trump, Vance, Slava Ukraini. Agree. Denis Mantas, rise and rise again. Lambs become lions. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Portugal supports you. Oh, Portugal. We're going to be making piri piri chicken soon. I'm not going to devolve this stream into food stream. Not yet. But piri piri chicken in Portugal. Amazing. Trump is an embarrassment. Please accept my apologies for the stupidity. Ukraine matters. Ukraine indeed matters, my friend. As an American, I stand with Ukraine. I am so disgusted with Trump and Vance. Torsten says, glory to Ukraine, glory to the hero Slava Ukraini. John Michalski, greetings from Australia. I was appalled by the total disrespect shown to such a great leader as President Zelensky by the convicted felon President Donald Trump and that moron GD Vance. USA should rename itself to the United States for Russia. The democratic world needs to step up and provide greater support to Ukraine now. True. John Pascal, sorry for butchering. Just trying to do my part to help, little as it may be. Hey, it's $11 more that Ukrainians had before. Thank you so much for any contributions. Mircea, praise Ukraine and its heroes. I'm sorry the rest of the free world is doing such a poor job at choosing its leaders. It's because of our weakness that you have to fight and die. Lucy Berlin, I stand with Ukraine and with the courageous, inspiring Zelensky against these Russia-affiliated MAGA bullies. Georgies, you're one of my top YouTubers on information about Ukraine and Russia. I so respect your reminders that we should first support these fundraisers for tough Ukrainian brigades rather than just you. And your honest, sometimes fiery defense of democratic values and of Ukraine. Thank you, Slava Ukrainian. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for the personal comment here. I really appreciate it. I'm just saying things that are on my heart, you know, and this is how I feel. Blandemil, as a European citizen, I'm tired of the slow and gradual step up from our politicians. Even as a Dane, I think we could do more. Good job, Denmark, by the way. Everyone is like looking at Mette Frederiksen and they're like, holy shit, the woman's got balls. Is this transgenderism? I don't know, whatever, but she definitely got the balls. Timothy Bonnet, you're amazing warrior, Slava Ukraine. Pierre Jan, thank you so much. Together for victory. And Walter says, Slava Ukraine. Max says, Slava Ukraine, my friend. Tristan Kopp, today I saw President Zelensky display remarkable courage and backbone despite my country's dumbass president administrations. Stay strong, America still supports you, Slava Ukraine. We're hoping so. Unfortunately, it's a bit difficult right now. With the United States, we definitely see the support from the people of United States. So thank you so much for that. At least, stay strong, Zelensky. Americans support you, not the bullies. True. Stephen Blakey. Due to the vile treatment of Zelensky by the man baby, I will make a second donation to this campaign. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes, and glory to Zelensky, one of the greatest leaders in history. Yes, absolutely. He definitely. Like, if he will not be written in history books, those are shitty history books. I'm going to wrap up the questionnaire, guys, just because I don't think I will be able to read a lot of the questions. I will much rather read questions from the chat. Cynthia, sincere apologies from the United States. A larger percentage US citizens support Ukraine to win than voted for DJ Trump. We still love you. Well, not anymore, because as far as I understood, like MAGA and Republicans now completely despise Zelensky and Ukraine. And apparently, the narratives that it is Ukraine to blame for the war is now being fully promoted within the Republican circles. So, c'est la vie, so to say. David Lawrence, my heart is with you, brave Ukraine. Fuck Trump and Putin. Agree. Simon Danvers, fuck Trump. The moral humans of the world will continue to support Ukraine. We love Ukraine. You are heroes. You are fighting for the freedom of us all, and you deserve the respect of the whole world. True. Arvind Kumar, Ukraine stands firm at the front lines of the free world against expansionist terror. Slava Ukraini. In the scheme of things, not much, but I hope it helps. When governments fail, us, the individual, has to try to do the right thing. Thank you so much for doing your part, my man. Bernard Chu, shame on Trump and JD for the way they bullied Zelensky. Stay strong, Ukraine. God will ultimately trump over evil. Good will ultimately trump all evil Russians. Thank you. Tommy, there is no lasting peace without real security guarantees. Stay strong. Europe has your back. Yes, we will try to do. Peter Susan says, stay strong, Zelensky. Americans support you, not the bullies. Sebastian Dumitrascu, may Ukraine prevail and come victorious in this atrocious war. Shame on Trump for his behavior towards Zelensky and his alignment towards terrorist Russia. Ukraine will never fail. Slava Ukraini. David Lawrence, my heart is with you, brave Ukraine. Fuck Trump and Putin. Thank you. Peter Prokes, we all need to do more. I will do more. President Zelensky is a hero, like all Ukrainians. The fat orange turd and his disciples make mockery of the good people of the United States. Ukraine fights for us all, and we betrayed them by not helping them to win. The West made a deal, their nukes for security. Ukraine was betrayed. Remember these orange turds' words. Fight like hell. This is what Ukraine is doing and is doing for us all because of the pathetic, demented orange turd in the White House. One who disrespects the one sacred house of democracy and disrespects the people of the United States must show he and those fools around him how tough he is by ganging up on a proud man who did not flee when Ukraine was attacked. We must support and fight like hell so Ukraine can win the war. Glory to Ukraine. Wow, Peter, what a nice speech. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Inyo, Slava Ukraini, Heroim Slava, lots of love, best wishes, and respect for the Ukrainian heroes. You are not alone. The free world is with you. Brian Schmidt, I'm so sorry about the way my president behaved today. I'm embarrassed, ashamed, and furious. We know, my man, we know. Paul, I wish I could make my country provide more support for Ukraine than they already have. I admire Zelensky, and I hope that Europe doubles down their military support towards Ukraine. I hope it will be more. Anonymous, supporting Ukraine from Guatemala since the Maidan and will continue until victory. Slava Ukraini, Heroim Slava. Appreciate it. 520 euros. Thank you so much. Kelly Carter, fuck Donald Trump. As a true American, I support Ukraine 100%. Philip, Slava Ukraini, as an American, I want to help Ukraine win this war. Derek Baker, number one, may God continue to bless Ukraine's warriors, citizens, and leaders with the strength, intelligence, and creativity to defeat Putin and his evil Russia war machine. Number two, may all of Europe, plus Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other true allies of Ukraine continue to A, recognize that Ukraine has every right to fight for the freedom and liberation of all of its sovereign territories, for justice, for the Russian aggressor, for reparations for all Ukrainian children stolen by the Russians, and for reparations for the damage and suffering caused by the Russians. B, continue to believe that Ukraine is fighting for more than its own beloved culture and sovereign land. Specifically, Ukraine is fighting for the values of democracy around the world, and President Zelensky is truly the leader of the free world. And C, strengthen their bonds and commitments with Ukraine and among themselves and provide it through their actions, which must include increasing their financial, material, and more support for Ukraine, especially in the wake of the betrayal of Ukraine by the federal government of the United States of America, so that Ukraine will be victorious over the Russian invaders as soon as possible. Slava Ukraini. Great words. Absolutely great words. You say, we are all with you. Good luck from the UK. Jerry says, I'm sorry the US government is fucked. Slava Ukraini. Mark Rogers, American who stands with Ukraine. Thank you. Nick Waterhouse, for Ukraine, for freedom, for the Zelensky and his leadership in the fortitude in the face of fascist dictators Putin and Dump. Yulia Franson, Russia go home, Ukraine must win. Strength, power, and love from Germany. You are the ones who are fighting for us and our values in Europe. You have all my respect, and I'm sorry for anything you have to go through. Hope it will end soon. Agree. Pont Clements, Ukraine matters. Big thanks to Georgie and his team for all the valuable work. Extremely thankful and respectful to the heroes of Ukraine who is bravely fighting for our freedom. We all love you. I can only comment that I agree with you fully. Katalin Toma, Slava Ukraini together until victory. Martin Kron, seeing Zelensky getting treated like that in the White House made me rage donate. Slava Ukraini. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for doing your part. Angel Weber, Slava Ukraini from the US. Sorry about the awful meeting. Fuck Trump. Fabiano Passin, for Eddie, for the leader of the free world of Ukraine. Lisa Mitchell, with love and support for Ukraine from the United States of America. Elizabeth Pierce, please don't write all Americans off. Plenty of us are still with you. True, I know so much Americans have been reaching out with the love and support for Ukraine. Thank you so much to the people of the United States of America. As an American, I'm very sorry for the reaction of our stupid president. P.S. I don't vote for the idiot. Eric Strasburger, this is the time for us Germans to finally stand on the right side of history. Get bloody moving. Thanks so much, Eric. Appreciate it. All right, let's get a little bit to the questions. It's hard reading a lot. And I will read every single one. So guys, if it's annoying for you, I'm very sorry, but this stream is to celebrate all those people that have been contributing. So I must do my part in celebrating what the people have been saying. It's an important thing. Sub-Hero, been a while since I donated, but I haven't stopped donating to Ukrainian causes. Europe must answer the call. My family has a military background. We must make join the military fashionable again in the EU. Sub-Hero, you're true, my friend. But don't worry, if you're donating to Ukraine, that's all I need. It's fine. It's all good. Despite the fact that this is my livelihood, it doesn't matter. First and foremost, support Ukraine. This is the most important thing. Okay, let's see if you have any questions. Ken Router, not enough characters to ask a proper question. If each country had the same tank, jet, rifle, etc., then supply problems are reduced. Yes, it's called the standardization. Kaimo, what do you think about the attempt to negotiate with the Ukrainian opposition and the discourse of the negotiations? It just showed me that Trump has no fucking clue what is happening in Ukraine. He doesn't understand Ukrainians. He doesn't understand Ukraine. He doesn't understand. And Ukrainians have been mocking him nonstop for it. Oh my God, guys. When these news about the Trump is reaching out to Poroshenko and Timoshenko, specifically Timoshenko, they came out, the whole Ukrainian internet was just ruffling. Everyone was just laughing because they are so there are people that people consider to be competitors to Zelensky, like Zaluzhny. Some of the popular commentators are there, the new types of leaders that the new society is accepting. But then Trump just goes to these Timoshenko, Poroshenko, the guys from not even previous but beyond previous generation by this point. And Ukrainian society just laugh out loud just how absolutely deluded to even consider them as a potential project in Ukraine that Trump's administration is. So it's stupid. It's just continuously showing the pattern that he doesn't understand shit. So that's what I think about him reaching out to the Ukrainian opposition. Mr. Acosta, is there another goal to reach? No, but there will be quite soon. I will have huge presentation about this. Believe me, you will like it. So for now, you're welcome to participate in some other fundraisers. There's people that are fundraising for NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade. Those are always nice to donate. The guys are working quite well. I've also talked with the NATO 69. I've been to their office, so they don't have a lot of overhead. A lot of the guys, like, it's very, very minimal, and a lot of the guys are working it for the cause. So they're legit. So I can only support NATO 69 Sniffing Brigade. Ukraine ADOPS, also very good. Super guys. Who else? I can't remember on top of my head, sorry. I'm gonna probably offend like all of the people that we worked with during this time, but yeah. Scooter explosion, nice. Tomasz Noshka, how long do you think until Europe output of arms grows significantly? Usually it's about 1 to 2 years. So since like starting the investment to the scaled output, it usually takes about 2 years. So what is it now? March. We could expect the program to start rolling out this year. So the first year I would expect like it's going to be some under the expectations. Maybe some countries will go over. So I would say we probably could spend like 200 billion this year. So they will pay off in about 2020, at the end of 2026. Scott Langhorst, Georgia, do you hear about new Tesla vehicle? It's the fascist thing on 4 wheels. The swastika cars? Yes, I've heard about those. I've thrown in a couple of Sikh Hiles to passing by Teslas, by the way. Knuda and Twitch, will there be other donation initiatives from your channel in the near future? Yes. Yes. Let's take this a little bit of pause. Let's say by the end of March, I will definitely roll out the big thing that I was promising so hard. So let's put some kind of like time pressure on me. Again, I ask you, so you don't Joy T, again, I ask, do you think the ICC should charge the US war crimes due to their support for Russia? Didn't you hear when I talk about these super government organizations like UN, ICC, my mom, and so on? Sorry. Sorry. I said my mom. I mean your mom. I was like, they're useless. They're not existent. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Joey. I talked about a little bit before. You can rewind if you want. Oh my god. Oh shit. I'm feeling nauseous. Sorry. Oh, that was weird. Was it the question? I probably like I thought about United Nations and suddenly got sick to my stomach. Oh my god. That felt really weird. Jesus Christ. No, not the questions. I'm more like allergic to United Nations and other thing. But Joey, I answered that question a little bit before. You can either rewatch the stream or something. No. Yeah, maybe it's the fentanyl. True. Jaimo, do you think that what is happening in the USA can be called Americans expressing their first taste of censorship or dictatorship? I don't think it's still dictatorship. Like, dictatorship has specific things in it. United States is moving towards dictatorship. Right now, what United States is experiencing is authoritarianism. So there is an authority at the center of political force, and there is like everyone that is working to to support that authority. Like, and I don't need you to chew it like exactly who is the authority here. And the fact that people are being brought in to work in the government structures that support specifically this authority based on loyalty. So that is already happening. So right now, United States is authoritarian state. It's like if we would categorize it fully, I would say it's a flawed democratic authoritarian state, if that makes sense, because the branches of government are subservient to an authority. It is not yet dictatorship. Dictatorship would require basically almost full control over any branch of government. US is still not there. Like the branches of government are subservient to authority, but they still can exhort sort of an independent thought sometimes on some questions, on some aspects, where that authority and his positions, for example, are not fully clear. There is like some gray area there. But as it kind of goes further and further, then we will see that transformation, the democratic things being degraded more and more. We will see that authority will start transforming into the authoritarianism and then into the dictatorship. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is like people say like, what is the one thing that Trump we would need to defend, like if we want to go against Trump? And the only thing that you need to defend, not the only, but like the first thing that you need to defend is fair elections. If there will be no fair elections, you're cooked. That's it. You're done. Everything else then will be open. So as soon as like there is any initiatives like Trump potentially staying for another term, or changes to constitution to change the way elections are made and so on, those are like not red flags. There's like ultra red flags. Those are like the reddest flags you see in your motherfucking life. That is basically the at the current stage of things in the United States. That is where like your fighting point should be first and foremost. Ivan Kalic, how do you think will Latvia withdraw from the Ottawa Convention of the Use on Impersonal Mines? I mean, Lithuania did, so why Latvia cannot withdraw? Not sure about the question. It's possible to withdraw. Lithuania withdrawn from those conventions, so definitely withdrawn from the cluster munitions and so on. So why not? It's a silly convention. It's a nice conventions are good when there is a conventional war. When the enemy is not fighting you conventionally, well, then you're just fighting with hands tied behind your back. Yeah. Might have been an earthquake. No. In Denmark, an earthquake. No, my friend. Definitely not an earthquake in Denmark. I can guarantee you it was a lot of things. Earthquake, it was not. Nine Moon Planet. The current jackass president of the United States is serious about annexation of Canada. Have you had any ideas on how to stop it? Well, I mean, you don't really have a lot of choice how to stop it, right? What type of annexation do you mean? Economic pressure is not going to work. I don't believe Canadians are just going to cave in and become like 51st state if there is a political pressure. What Trump needs to do is to be smarter, which he's not. So what he needs to do is build like what Putin built, like the propaganda machine. He needs a propaganda machine to work to start convince Canadians that half of them is actually wants to become people of the United States. Then create Canadian People's Republic somewhere inside Canada, let's say, I don't know, which state is like least relevant for Canada. I don't know, Ottawa. I don't know. People from Ottawa is gonna help. Is Ottawa Canadian? Oh my God, if Ottawa is not Canadian and it's not a state, wait, Ottawa is a city. Damn it! I'm so bad. I'm so bad at U.S. geography. Sorry. States of Canada. Provinces and territories of Canada. Ontario. I meant Ontario. So if Ontario suddenly is like Ontario People's Republic, and then basically Ontario People's Republic says we have always wanted to be free nation, that is the playbook for Trump. That is how he can only ways convince, because other way there is only direct force. And if it's a direct force, well then are you ready to fight if you're Canadian? Because that is the question. So if it's just political and economic, it's going to be hard. Denmark did have earthquakes in 2010. My bed was sailing around from an earthquake outside Malmö, Sweden. The earthquake was 1.5 kilometers below ground, but powerful enough to feel it. Are you sure you didn't just fart very nicely? Don't know, just asking. I'm just saying this like that economically, I don't know, start being more economically independent. That is the way to circumvent economic pressure from the United States. Military pressure, that is a different question. Information pressure, well, thankfully United States doesn't have a robust propaganda network. It will take them a couple decades to revamp that if they will want to. KP, Americans invade well, but they hold poorly. Yeah, true. Actually, true. KP actually striking to the core. That's like that. Like one thing is invasion, and the second thing is trying to control that area. True. Yes, Georgie, Trump is the stupidest. I can't even write what I think of him. He's ruining us. Yeah, man. But like, there's still a way out, right? He still haven't ruined United States fully. There's still the next election that can happen. But definitely there is more action that needs to be taken by Democrats, because they're the only party that is like supposedly countering him, and Democrats are like, well, I mean, even the Democrats, some people within their own party like are mocking them for not doing shit. Or was it like The Onion? Was it like, oh my God, I think I saw it like on Adam Something's channel. Yeah. Wait, it's like Adam. I think he posted the picture, something. There we go. Yeah, this one. The Democrats right now. So it's when The Onion is not The Onion, you know. Onion is posting the most accurate news today. So true. Yeah. So there is a place and time for protests like this, like holding a sign or having the same colors or whatnot. Not when your fucking democracy is being dismantled. All right, guys. I've read all of the questions. I think I will finish reading the things. Then I'm gonna ask a couple of more questions if anyone will be on the stream, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But I must give my respect to all of the people that have been contributing to this campaign. So I will read the streams, read the statements that people made, just so we can slowly wrap it up the stream. And again, huge respect to all of the people that contributed this. Pargurth. Europe must step up. 300 billions from Russian money and 500 billion from the stupid green deals of 1,000 1,000 billion that currently destroys our economy here in Europe. True. Like some of the green things that were like, don't get me wrong, green things really, really good, really important. But like sabotaging your nuclear stations, that is idiotic. That is beyond stupid. But that is my opinion. You can be against it. This is the part where like we can argue on. Like I can hear arguments against nuclear, wrong arguments in my perspective, but still I can understand it. But I still think that it was a huge sabotage against Germany to dismantle the nuclear power plants because you're using coal. You gave up nuclear for coal. Cecile, Ukraine still has friends. We won't give up. Slava Ukraini. Kony says, Zelensky should not sign. I'm USA citizen, voted Harris Walls. Chris Sinclair, many Americans still support you and you're a real leader, not the weak bullies that are trying to humiliate Zelensky and in fact expose their fragile egos even further. True. Stefan Bloom, Slava Ukraini, finish the Russians off. Nick says, glory to Ukraine, love and support from Ontario, Canada. Ontario, like Ottawa, oh my god. Guys, I'm very sorry for mixing up states and cities. I'm really bad. Like, I need to learn my geography. Sorry. Jay Garnett, thanks for organizing these collections. Georgie, proud of Zelensky for having spoken and not being a bootlicker sociopath. He has some patience, Jay. Thanks, Jay. Terry Mabry, I will be donating a lot more soon. Thank you, Terry. Marco, salute to the Ukrainian heroes. Greetings from Germany. Thanks, Marco. Thanks for protecting Europe. Slava Ukraini. Thank you to Ukrainians for sure. Tony says, Slava Ukraini, Germany should understand better. If we don't end the war, it will come to the rest of Europe. Stand strong and don't give up. Best wishes, Tony. Anonymous, send Trump to Russia and Felon to Mars. Support Ukraine. True. Matt Dendura, after that disgrace of conference in the White House, I hope this small donation can help in some small way. Hope that Europe can step up and support us strongly for us as long as it needed. Slava Ukraini from Englishmen in Switzerland. Thank you, Matt. Scott Andrews, Donald Trump is a huge embarrassment and a joke to the democratic sane part of this world. Slava Ukraini. Trump is equal clown face. Thanks, Scott. To a free independent Ukraine, thank you so much. Ukrainian people fight for all of us. Charlie Peterson, Americans stand with Ukraine. I deeply apologize for the traitors who wound up in charge. Graham Mackenzie, we must not allow the aggressor to win or even be rewarded for their murderous attack. True. Nestor Bablak, Slava Ukraini, just like all empires, Russia needs to learn that invading their neighbors and killing innocent victims is not the way forward. Yes, the only way they learn it by losing. Sergei Onishenko, hey Sergei, the Ukrainian community of Antwerp exercises its solidarity. Could we please ask for the Trident and First badges? Thank you so much for 500 euros, Sergei. Appreciate it so much. I hope you got your patches. Or will get. I don't know how long will it take them to process. There's been a lot of donations recently. If you don't get it, please reach out to me so I make sure that you get what you wanted. I just wanted to live fearless, secure, and without any shame in my beloved Europe. No one has the right to bully, make others suffer. The aggressor and its minions should lose this war so badly that they regret the day when they were born. I fully stand with you guys, someone who has burned in EU Trojan horse country. Sorry to hear that, my man, but you have the right thinking. Patrick, thanks for the hard work. Robert Mills, I'm Canadian. Congratulations, Robert. It's a good thing. Andres Medenis, from someone whose Latvian parents fled ahead of the Red Army in 1944. We cannot let it happen again. 1938, all love again, love from Australia. Wow, from Latvia to Australia, what a journey. Anna Kuznichenko, Ukrainian bravehearts to victory. Kharkiv artist Dmitry Kuznichenko. Okay, I need Dmitry Kuznichenko. Dmitry Kuznichenko, artist. Let's find out who he is. Guys, if anyone is interested in art, can you look into this Dmitry Kuznichenko? Maybe there's something that you will like or support him in a sunny way, because like I have no idea about art whatsoever, completely beyond me. This is like the part where I'm like absolutely empty. So if you wanna check it out, please do check it out. This is the person that supports Ukraine, and this is super important. Richard Brosso, now Ukraine needs our support more than ever. Slava Ukraini from Canada. Thank you. Radek Vecherka, greetings from Czechia. I wish I could do more, but do not lose hope in these crazy times. Europe's slow bureaucracy hasn't done enough to help, but the people of Europe stand behind you. Slava Ukraini. Diki, Radek. Nigel Necklace, one small contribution to ensure dictators and wannabes take their rightful place as the laughingstock of history. Thanks. Sebastian says, don't give up, we support you. Thank you, Sebastian. Fuck Trump, Putin, Vance, and Musk. I can't stop thinking of the saying, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. People need to understand that we need to stand up for freedom and democracy, or evil and greedy people will people will take it away. Slava Ukraine and glory to the heroes from Denmark. Tak. Let's fight for your children, futures together. Thank you. Oh. Richard says, together we stand, together we will celebrate the defeat of the Russian Empire. Спасибо украинцам за мужность. Thank you, Ukrainians, for the bravery. It's, I guess, спасибо is like from the Russians. I guess it's дякую, he meant. Дякую украинцам за мужность. Gordon Horn, I know $50 isn't much, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something. Ukrainian people are doing so much. I wish I was in their place and I'd have as much courage. Thank you so much for doing your part, Gordon. Like, it's very important for every single one of us to do as much as we can. And thank you for doing your part for sure. Masha Long, Slava Ukrainsky Nazi. Agree, Masha. Linda Erickson, there are many Americans who still support you and are horrified by the President Trump and Vice President Vance are saying and doing. True. Sharon Nichols, fuck FDJT. I live in Florida, USA. I stand with Ukraine and Europe. Win this war in Ukraine's terms. Yes. Love from Average AL. I'm afraid to say what AL is. People in chat will say what it is. So I've shamed myself enough this time. James Cannell, Georgie, we support you here in USA. Chicago, now more than ever, keep up with what you're doing. It will pay off. Slava Ukraine. Thank you so much, James. Don't support me, support Ukraine. That's what matters. Lisa Mitchell, Slava Ukraine, kick Russia out of Ukraine, for sure. Kenneth Donsby, we only depend on ourselves to support Ukraine. I didn't vote for T. Slava Ukraini. Anonymous, now that US President Musk and his hand puppet Trump have abandoned Ukraine, it's about time for the whole Europe to stand up and drive the orcs from Ukraine. We should have already done that. Shame on the EU politicians for sitting on their hands. Agreed. Andreas Nilsson, you guys are heroes, and one matter that happens, you will be remembered as such. Jan Rutsky, thank you again, Jan. Europe will also stand behind Ukraine. Keep fighting. Thank you, Jan. Margarita Romero Durazi, to demonstrate we are united in freedom, every capable American should donate at least $5 to prove we are with Ukraine, fighting for Ukrainian sovereignty. Amen. Thank you so much, Margarita. And plenty of people from the United States have donated. Plenty. Thank you so much from the people from the United States. Alabama, thank you. Thank you. AL was Alabama. Marian Sains, so sorry about US MAGA double-crossing Ukraine. Nevertheless, Ukraine will be victorious. Agreed, my friend. Andrei Lucas, thank you, Ukrainian soldiers and Ukrainians in Ukraine, for defending liberty and democracy in Europe. Thank you, Car for Ukraine and Georgie from Ukraine Matters, to give us normal Joes the possibility to support Ukraine. I didn't count how often I already donated for NATO campaigns, but it is my first time here donating for Car for Ukraine. It helps against my deep feelings of helplessness watching the strategy in Ukraine and the amount of stupidity in the ranks of some politicians in the West. I will support Ukraine until the orcs have left Ukraine and until Ukraine has built up again after the war. I decided to double the value of each donation from now on after Trump is actually destroying long-lasting relationship with allies and is now even blaming Ukraine for the Russian invasion. I also want to kick the butts of European leaders, in quotes, who failed to stop the dwarfification of Europe. I also want to kick the butts of the US Democrats who ignored the real problems like illegal immigration and made extremist Trump great again in elections. Get rid of extremists from the left and the right. They will destroy the Western world as we know. We knew? Question mark. Greetings from Bavarian in Switzerland. Slava Ukraini. Andre, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for supporting Ukraine. Appreciate it so much, my friend. Mark Kinsey, here's some more money to support Ukraine and their fight to remain an independent and sovereign country. Russia had no right to invade Ukraine, no right to kill Ukrainians. We must support Ukraine so that they can keep fighting the good fight and defeat Putin's Russia and show how small-minded Putin, Trump, Vance, and Musk are. From retired citizen in the UK. Thank you so much, Mark. Kenneth Dunsby, we can only depend on ourselves. Oh, I think we read it already. Red Bowers, many of us Americans still love you and pray for your success in safety. God bless Ukraine. Stay strong, Ukraine. We'll be with you to fight and then to heal the wounds and rebuild your country as an important part of the United Europe. And previous one was from Rat. Cedric says, please use for a bouquet for Putin's grave. I think it will be used for car, unfortunately, Cedric, but thank you so much for the compliment. Slava Ukraini, Heroem Slava from Niels. Alexandra Johansson, keep fighting the good fight from a humble healthcare worker in Sweden. Roland Vasilevsky, Slava Ukraini, regards from Tasmania, Australia. Thank you so much, Roland. Nikolaus Gobel, keep up the excellent work, Slava Ukraini. Tim Saletsky, I didn't vote for this America. True Americans will continue pushing for just peace. Thank you, team. We know. Joachim Günther, fuck the donkey army and Trumpkin. Oh, yo. Cheryl Conrad, I'm so sorry for what the US is doing through the whole world, including here in the United States. He will take us all down. I don't know what we can do. We already are doing a lot, Cheryl. Like, Ukraine's fight is also going to help US a lot when Ukraine wins. So you are also doing something. There is a hard fight to be fought in the United States. I don't know the situation in US that much, so I cannot tell you what you should do. But the critical things, as I said, to defend for United States, despite the darkness, like there is always the chance to overcome darkness if there is a pathway. So at minimum, you need to defend the pathway, whatever it takes. Any public campaigns, any kind of activities to just defend the ability to do free and fair election and prevent any changes to constitution. That is the two things that are absolutely crucial to defend. Jean-Luc oh my God. Jean-Luc, Trump is an idiot. Europe will not let Ukraine down as the US. Slava Ukraini, greetings from Germany. Thank you, my man. Dmitry Marinkev, in this moment of darkness and betrayal, Ukraine needs our moral and financial support more than ever. Fuck Trump, Musk, and JD Vance. Do not give up. Keep up fighting. Goodness and light will always prevail over darkness and evil. We'll hope so, and we'll continue doing more so that we make sure that it does. Fuck Trump, fuck Elon, fuck Putin. Nobody had even the right to invade a sovereign country and claim as their own. Agreed. American here. I'm so fucking disgusted with the corrupt POS Trump. Ukraine must reclaim all of its territory, including Crimea. Slava Ukrainian, fuck Trump and Adolf. Jeremy Birgoin. I'm sorry for butchering. Never give up. Stay strong. Love Ukraine. I'm a proud Ukrainian American. Up with Ukraine, down with Trump. Yes. Lars Hirt, sorry. After the orange POS from Washington gave Putler a serious BJ today, I feel the need to donate again and even more and again and again till there is rightful peace in Ukraine. Greets and the best wishes from Switzerland. Slava Ukraini. Agree, my friend. Celine Rail, this Canadian stands with you. Victory to Ukraine. John Hill, thank you for Ukraine, for your courage and wisdom in your fight, oppression, and everyone on behalf. Celine and John, I think you've been donating before, I also read. Cynthia, I believe in you more than my own country. Freedom is worth fighting for. Yes, Ukraine is truly the beacon of democracy and freedom right now. Paul Buller, supporting Ukraine matters. Life is the greatest value from Berlin. Thank you so much, Paul. Martin Pollack, Slava Ukraini from Austria. Theo, glory to the heroes, Europe. We can do more to help. We must do more as long as it takes until Ukraine is safe and free. Regards from Netherlands. Sean Talbot, stand strong. America is still with you. Heroim Slava. Alan Langshaw, Ukraine needs more drones. Where drones are used, less Ukraine heroes will die. Agree with it fully. Daniela, wishing you rapid and lasting victory. Family Ulrichs, Ukraine is not alone. We are here. Thank you so much for the whole 3,000 euros donations from the whole family. Appreciate it so much. Martin Svanholm, freedom, democracy. Thank you so much. Daniel Stedham, when on fire, all in. A small donation. Paul says, a small donation, but if more of us chip in, Russia will ship out their donkeys. True. Paul, Nem Minden Magyar Oros. Oh my God, that's Nem Minden Magyar Oros Party. Slava Ukraini. I have no idea what I just read, but I'm hoping it's good. James Gay, good. God keeps safe the brave Ukrainian heroes. Agree completely. Robert Littlewood, thank you, Car for Ukraine. Ukraine matters for your support and the brave defenders of Ukraine. And thank you to the defenders of Ukraine and democracy. Your courage and resilience is inspirational. I appreciate you. Glory to Ukraine from Armenia. Hovik, thank you so much. I'm inspired by the fight for freedom and democracy every day when I read the news of the Ukrainian warriors. I see your courage and I also see the grief for so much that has been lost. Putin and his armies must not win. Slava Ukraini. Glory to Ukraine, leader of the world in the fight of freedom and justice for all. With you all the way, Ukraine, God bless you. Ken says, glory to Ukraine, leader of the free world. Silverbird 425, Ukraine matters. Agree with you with that. Vitis Verbitskas, keep fighting the evil ones. You are saviors of Europe. Дякую. Lisa Mitchell, Ukrainians are resilient warriors. Slava Ukraini, Heroim Slava, kick Russians out forever. Totally agree. Snake Pliskin, oh man, we got Snake Pliskin donating here, by the way. And like not a shitty amount as well, 470. Aha, so he's in UK. In memory of Jay Brown, WW1 Coldstream Guards over the top 14 times. You can survive and be victorious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my friend. Jason Gwost, no matter how many say the word won't help, know that many humans inhabit this earth and a large percentage of that are filled with people who will support you in your time of need. We, warriors of the world, have heard your cry, even though many of us might not truly understand. Many of us still truly care. Loss of life, liberty, and love affects us all. War spreads in more ways than bombs, in enemy waves, in tides of hate. War spreads fear and concern everywhere it can. We, the people in the dark, listen, and some of us stand up and shout, no. I'm no soldier. I'm just a Canadian citizen trying to live in the best way I can, far away from war, far away from real death and pay. If my funds can help you, whoever reads this, even just a little, if my funds can help you, whoever reads this, even just a little in your everyday hell, then good. Give the Russians your best response. I'm not a religious man, but I will say this in good human spirit. Godspeed, Slava Ukraini, with fiery resolve, Jason. Jason, thank you so much, and thank you so much to the people in Canada. Rick Paulson, more donations equal Russians. Heroyam Slava. Shane Chanels, it's not much, but it's my third donation. Evil can only win when good men do nothing. Thank you so much, Shane, for doing your part. Graham says, great work. Ulrich says, Slava Ukraini from Germany. Thank you so much, Ulrich. Timothy says, with love from Oregon, Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. Thank you so much, Timothy, and thank you for spelling Oregon. Julius Hakala, coming from a guy who finished his own military service last summer, I have finally decided to do the good deed and donate to the right cause, which is freedom to Ukrainian people. Slava Ukraini from Finland. Thank you so much, Julius. Dana Pearson, I love you and wish I was young enough to come fight for freedom with you all. You are brave, valiant, and amazing. I'm totally ashamed of my country right now. America is failing democracy. Slava Ukraini, fuck Russia. Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you so much for being there to support democracy now that it matters the most. He says, not even Hungary is a friend of Russia. Thank you so much, Claudia, for translation. Marian saying, Slava Ukrainian, thank you so much, Georgies, and all involved in helping Ukraine. Deep respect for Ukraine's courage and ingenuity. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you're asking like how many pages more, just so you know, 17 pages is the last one. So we just have like 3 pages more. 15, 16, and 17. So, and then we're gonna slowly wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to me here. I really need to give my respects here and do the job. And do my part to give a shout out to every single one of the person that has been contributing to this incredible achievement. Thank you so much, everyone. Stephen Benal, victory for Ukraine in 2025. Slava Ukraini. Marco Pierbon, let's send the Russian terrorists back home. Glory to the heroes. Yulia says, thank you, brave people. We so appreciate your bravery and valiant efforts for our world and humanity. Or maybe Julia. Richard Gregory, Slava Ukraini, let's drive the orcs back to Russia. Agree, my friend. Richard Loglin, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes, glory of the nation, Ukraine above all, love from England. Appreciate it, my friend. Sven Horstman, Endracht macht Nachma. Endracht macht Macht. Endracht macht Macht. Okay. You can help me say what it said. David McCarthy, you're doing an amazing job for the heroes of Ukraine and the world. True. Antonio de Castro, we are having issues with our own democracy right now, and I don't know what I can do to fix it. Defending Ukraine's democracy is simple in comparison. Turn orcs into sunflower food. Antonio, you are helping. Ukraine right now is a beacon of democracy. Ukraine prevailing will help guide other democracies. It's a light in darkness that guides us. So that's why we all support Ukraine. Life is the greatest value from Anonymous. Thank you so much for 1,000 euros. Richard B. Thoughts are with all the heroes who have fallen in Ukraine. Good job, my friend. Agree, Richard. Leonard Stahlberg, don't ever forget that there are many people that see your suffering and your sacrifices. I will forever be in your debt for fighting against a vicious, oppressive system. May the force be with you, and Slava Ukraini. Michael Smith, amazing work, Georgie. Thank you so much. From Aussie and accidentally married to a Brit whose grandfather both fought and survived the Somme and Ypres. Russia disgusts me. Who would have thought that this a-hole would keep invading his neighbors? Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so for mispronouncing stuff. And don't thank me. It's a big thanks only to Ukraine. Everything to the Ukraine. It's me that needs to be thanking you. Declan O'Rourke, love and prayers to Ukrainian heroes from Ireland. Stephen Wallstrom, never surrender, heroes of Ukraine, people in Minnesota support you. Slava Ukraini. Mary Moore, Slava Ukraini, Mary. Phil FX, great job, Georgie. You reinforce everything I believe. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you so much for helping Ukraine. Lindley Breeze, we are with you. Slava Ukraini from Anonymous. Daniel says, from Italy with love. Thomas, Heroyam Slava. Pavel Atanasov says, sends hearts. Or less than 3. Sean H, get him boys. UK supports Ukraine. Martin Pollack, Slava Ukraini from Austria. Patricia Cully, you the brave people of Ukraine are always in my thoughts and prayers. Thank you so much, Patricia. Alejandro Smith, Slava Ukraini, thanks for protecting Europe. Appreciate it from all you, also Europe, for protection. And agree with you, Alejandro, so much. Kirk Maddox, Slava Ukraini from Canada. Malcolm Isaacs, you are the heroes in my eyes and you will win this war. Slava Ukraini from Canada. Wesley Davis says, Slava Ukraini. Anonymous says, every dollar counts, send Putin to hell. Agree completely. Wesley Davis, again, Slava Ukraini. Douglas Kramer, any citizen still left in Russia is soulless and irredeemable. They must be defeated to exercise the essential evil that must live in their head. Agree. Michael Fidel, this is for the special people, Ukrainians who make everything possible. Rat Putin would not walk on their land. Kyiv has to be part of NATO, so we would not have to see the war again. I think Kyiv would be even better as a different defense of NATO. Ukrainians can bring much more to whatever NATO becomes than anything beforehand. Raymond Romero, God bless Ukraine and its brave people. Agree completely. Benjamin Townbridge, I want to do something, however small, to support the Ukrainians and doing every day to preserve their freedom and fighting against such evil and injustice. Thank you so much, Benjamin. You're doing your part. Anonymous says, Ukrainians are the best people in the world. Agree. Right now they are. Edward Olson, hope for victory soon so all hardworking people in Ukraine can return home and rebuild their country. Yes. Michael Donovan, I'm not rich, but I'll say this, Slava Ukraini, you can put my name on a missile. Big Mix sends his love. Reap what you saw, Putin. Thanks, Michael, and or Big Mick. Thank you so much for doing your part as whatever it is. It doesn't matter, big, small. Thank you so very much. Artyom Odensov sends a heart or less than 3. Thank you for every single person that participated in this fundraiser. Incredible job. 25 trucks, €250,000. That is huge amount of help. Thank you, every single one of us, every single one of you as well. Let's wrap it up with some questions, guys. Let's do 3, and then we're gonna end for today. Grumby, yes, thank you so much for $20 for Ukraine democracy, while America might be in limbo of democracy. Thanks, Grumby. I really appreciate it. Give me a couple of questions, guys. Let's do a couple of them, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I know you're here still. There's still 1,000 of you left, so. Yeah, Georgie's is gorgeous. Yeah. Gorgeous. It's because when people actually, never mind. It's a stupid story. Stupid story. It's stupid and it's not truth. USA is now, they exist, says USA is now an incubator for institutionalization, narcissism, oligarch mafia, families like Kremlin system. This is where USA is headed now. Let's see. Okay, I don't see. You can sleep well tonight. Weird. True. All right, I don't see any questions. So half American didn't vote and half the rest voted. I've heard Aussie and fine. They don't vote. We should do the same. Maybe. Gary Waltz, just 1 inch to the right and none of this would happen. Dumb sniper. Maybe. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I guess there is no questions. Thank you so much for watching this stream. Video, of course, will be coming. Plenty of things to talk about. I hope this was insightful for you. I will try to do more. I will try to do more fundraisers at the end of the month. Thank you for everyone that has been supporting this one. Thank you so much for people that have been watching, have been sending messages to their direct representatives. Thank you so much to the moderating team. I love you. Slava Ukraini. And I will see you next time.